Well, welcome everyone to another episode of Uncle Garrett.
And Aunt May.
Hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to speak to the young ladies among us, and we're going to tackle the subject of why won't he marry me? Why won't he commit to me? So the real reason in short is that it's probably because you're having sex with him. Okay, that'll be the end of the episode. Thank you very much for... Oh, wait, maybe we should explain a little bit more. Yeah.
Why it is harmful?
Yeah.
Why that's the reason he doesn't marry me?
Yeah.
It's kind of like not really...
So let's put it this way. If you don't have sex with him, or if you stop having sex with him, he will pretty quickly either decide to marry you or to walk away. Because that'll be a forcing function, because, well, sex is very important to men. They want it.
We'll talk more about later. The first and foremost important thing of sex before marriage is that you leave the escape hatch wide open.
Yeah. This is, that means he's very free to leave at any time the going gets rough. And, you know, it's nice to have that freedom. And then he's getting all the best benefits of marriage, access to you. And, but he still has his options.
Very low cost for him to walk away if there's a fight or any conflict in marriage. And also, even there's no fight, no conflict, there's a lot of temptations, and he might tell himself to say, "I'm still a free man. I haven't committed to anybody, so I'm still free to pursue somebody else." Yeah. So that's a big risk for you.
Yeah. So
there's another scenario, is that you already cohabitating with him.
Yes. So if you're cohabitating, now the sex has been achieved, and it's kind of like if you're saving up for an iPhone or a new car or something. You tend to be very focused on that and think about it a lot. But
all the time, think of the iPhone all the time.
Once you get that, you tend to think of it less, and that's just human nature.
Then the iPhone becomes your possession, so you forget about that, and it just become daily life and normal thing. So that the great attraction is gone. And the man's always trying to focus on something excited and to conquer next excitement. So you might be left out of his focus.
Right. And then on top of that, then you have the regular fights and arguments you have as a married couple. And so the value tends to go down when you cohabitate.
But there's another big negative side about cohabitation is, as time goes on, your weakness, your problem, your flaws will be more easily spotted by him, and that lead to his more hesitation and maybe change his mind.
Right.
So the excitement going down, disappointment going up, so you're not in a very safe and good place.
Yeah.
Okay, the next scenario is that he might be a man that is deeply afraid of marriage.
Yes, and that does happen. And it happens often because as young men or boys, they see a lot of couples in marriage that have a failed marriage or things are going very badly. And so they have a very poor impression of the institution of marriage. And that's a problem. And
they suffered through their parents' divorce and emotionally being shocked, and they're afraid of a marriage ever since. And then when they grow up and then witness the coworkers or the clients around them also have broken marriage with children, very bad situation. They're deeply scared.
Yeah. And and what they're saying here is that they're not confident that they can do any better. And another way of thinking of that is they don't want the challenge of learning and growing as a person and doing whatever they can to overcome the risk of having a poor marriage. They don't want, they're not interested in improving themselves and preparing them for what could be a good marriage. They're just afraid of what's bad.
You really need somebody to have a mindset that is, I would take whatever to make it work. I would take whatever to bring this marriage to a happy place. Okay, and then you might say, oh, the reason I have sex or I want to have sex with him because that he already promised me that he will marry me. What do you think, Uncle Garrett?
Yep. So only the young and inexperienced women tend to think that because that rarely works. It's kind of like giving a drunk carpenter full payment for building a house up front. You know, an alcoholic carpenter. What are the chances he's going to finish your house as opposed to celebrating with lots of alcohol? Not much. You know, no one would want to enter into a contract like that. Why would you?
But the girl there might say, hi, he's not alcoholic.
Yeah. Well, and I'd say, well, when it comes to sex, yeah, he is. You know, even if you as a female don't prioritize sex, you have to understand that young men do. This is a priority for them, and it's wired into their brains. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing they can do about it. It's just a fact of nature. As sex and is a reproductive imperative that is highly wired into the male brain.
All right. So let's just make it clear, girls there, that I understand some of you don't have that much of sex desire, so we don't tend to think that's a big deal. So, but we're going to see the picture from their side, which is for a young man's, in their mind, access to sex is the biggest asset you have.
Yeah.
So don't give away for free. Don't give away for so easy like nothing. And that's actually your biggest attraction to get them to marry you. So don't give away.
Yeah.
Hold it. So always be there so to attract them to come here, attract them to marry you. So that is the biggest asset.
Right. And if you think, well, my boyfriend is more interested in career success and you know, money and power or whatever, well, those are often and to a great degree just proxies for sexual access. So it all leads towards the reproductive imperative.
Here Uncle Garrett said is the explanation of young man's base brain. How does that work? It may not consciously they realize that, but there's the base brain driver desire to motivate them.
Right.
So they might not. So when you ask them, they might deny it.
Right.
Yes. Right. There are another scenario that you might say that, well, I gave him sex access, or I want to give him sex access because he's such a great man. I want to lock him in. Or I have other competitions that I want to win.
Yeah. So, yes, you might be in a competition. And if you try to win it by offering sex, well, congratulations, you'll win the gold medal and lowering yourself. Unfortunately, that's the way it works, you know. And men tend to put women into two categories, you know, the easy, cheap women and the women they want to marry. And if you offer sex just to lock him in, it will likely backfire on you because you'll be put in to the easy cheap category rather than the want to marry category.
Especially for the high quality men. So besides their sex desire, they do pay a lot of value on your quality of being good wife and good mother. So if you don't work on that, just cut the corner, get sex on the table. And their desire of looking for a high quality wife and mother is still there. So after explore your sex, their eyes might still looking for the high quality woman that can be a high quality wife and mother. And we do have a video called "The Sex Before Marriage," and it gives all the data of sex before marriage. That's a huge damage, especially to women. The next is that, do I really want to marry a man that can't wait for sex?
Yeah, if you have a boyfriend who just can't wait for sex, what he's telling you is that he doesn't have the discipline. And that discipline is important. You know, if he can't put off his immediate desires for a better outcome in the future, that's going to reflect in life in a lot of other different ways, including the risk of him wanting an affair later on. You know, when your marriage gets to a hard spot, and it will, all marriages do.
Always.
And you know he doesn't have discipline to deny himself immediate gratification. That's a formula for trouble.
And even there's no fight, you know, you have the bearing baby period, and you know you have breastfeeding period that you barely can have a few hours sleep the whole day. And then so that if he doesn't have the sexual discipline, so you put yourself and your future baby in great risk. The last but not least is that some of you may say, well, I want to have sex before marriage anyway because I do have biological need. For this lady, Uncle Garrett, do you have any suggestion?
Yes. So sex has two purposes. One is to act as a bond between a married couple, and when used properly, it can form a very strong bond. The other purpose is to make children. Okay, so either any use outside of those purposes is really like taking a prescription drug and abusing it. Just using it for your short-term pleasure, it puts you at great risk. You know, sex before marriage, if you have multiple partners before marriage, it doubles your risk of depression, and it trains your body to ignore the bonding effects of sex. And that then really hurts the children, your future children. You know, the by far the best environment for children is to be in a family with a husband and wife who are married and love each other. And when you put your marriage at risk because of premarital sex, it hurts that, you know, future environment for your children. And so what does that amount to? It amounts to, you know, putting your future children at great risk for your pleasure. And that's not good.
There are times you do need discipline on your sex desire. What if you are in traveling? What if your husband is in traveling? What if when you get to the menopause, there's a 30% chance of you that your sex desire will go way up? So what are you going to do with those scenarios? Are you going to have an affair? And one affair beside the marriage will put you 40% depression, higher chance. And do you really want to risk your marriage, risk your own health, mental, emotional health, and risk your children's future? Do you really want to go that direction? The real answer is that you do need to have the self-discipline on your sex desire too. All right, I think that's all. And if you have any questions or want to have further discussion with us, here's the email address. You can write to us.
That'll be may@epiphanywebsites.com. And we welcome your questions. We will give you personal attention if you so desire. So I know this is a hard message to hear, and so it may not make a lot of sense. And let me tell you, this is the message that we wish we could have told ourselves to our younger selves. And it's so much clearer in hindsight. And it's much harder to see when you're young and looking forward into the future. But think of this as a letter to yourself from your future self, because I know as you get older, you will see this much more clearly.
Yes, we're basically trying to show where is the pitfalls so that you don't go there, so that you have a straight and smooth route to a successful, happy marriage.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening. And if you found this helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tough subjects and maybe happier subjects too.
The next one will be happier.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.